Welcome to the learning experience Words Kids Need to Hear. And today we are continuing to explore some more words and we are exploring the words I love you today. What can possibly be said about these words? They're probably the words that every human being longs to hear and feel the most. In his book, Staal mentions the author Robert Louis Stevenson, who writes and says, "Do not judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds you plant." As parents, your constant challenge is to determine whether you are sowing seeds of love in your children's lives through your words and deeds, and whether your children hear and believe those words. A few years back, at a youth camp, I saw one of the teenagers sitting on a wall away from everyone else. I went closer and asked her if I could sit next to her. Her eyes were filled with tears, and she said, "I guess so." After a moment of silence, I asked her why she's crying. Like most teenagers, the initial answer was just because I've got some stuff that bothers me. After another moment of silence, she says, "I don't know if I'm good enough. My friends don't like me. I'm fighting with my parents and I struggle with my academics. All the normal teen drama." I asked her why she's so sad about it. And then the words, "I do not feel they love me." "Who? Your friends?" I asked. "No, my parents." She needed to hear, see, and experience that her parents love her beyond anything else. I know her parents love her, and yet, as a teenager, she still needed to hear those words in order to feel loved and cherished. As children move through the developmental phases, there will be times that they need to hear those words more often than usual. Staal says, "Love matters too much to leave it assumed or unsaid." Every child needs to know that he or she is loved. As parents, to love your child is very high on your list. As a matter of fact, it's the first thing on every parent's list. But it happens that we get so busy and without ill intent, we sometimes forget to verbalize our love for our children. I'm sure you will agree with me when I say that there's nothing more precious than when your child grabs you around your neck and pulls you toward them, and then they say, "Mommy, Daddy, I love you." What is even more precious is that they know and will also be able to say, "Mommy, Daddy, I know that you love me." It's the greatest gift to know that your children knows you love them. In their book, The 5 Love Languages of Children, Dr. Gary Chapman and Dr. Ross states that unconditional love is to show love to a child no matter what. In other words, we as adults show our love to our children even if they do not express their love for us. Younger children tend to give more spontaneous expression and easily share their love with you in the form of hugs and kisses. It's so easy to express our love for them too because of that. It's sometimes harder to prove your love to your difficult, uncommunicable teenager. But by showing and expressing your love to your child, they learn that you love them even though they sometimes do something wrong. Even if they're naughty, you still love them. Your love for them is not conditional. Your love does not become less when their behavior is not favorable. It is not the child's responsibility to make him or herself feel loved. It is the responsibility of every parent and adult. There are numerous books that you can read around this theme that can help you. Often those books are very complex. That is why I would like to make a few suggestions based on the book by Staal. And he writes, "Make it clear by saying it regularly and also by showing with your actions that you love your child." Sometimes a simple ball kicking session or a pat on the back where you say, "I love you," is a very clear and simple way of saying and showing your love. Secondly, be purposeful. and make it part of your everyday rhythm to tell your child you love them, just as you would tell your husband or wife. By making it a daily habit, it helps to permanently embed in your child that you truly, truly love them. Lastly, be steadfast in forming the habit of telling your child, I love you. Keep saying it, don't stop. Children learn best by repetition. But I'm sure you know that already, since you've probably watched Frozen a million times during the past year. As they grow older, they may push you away. Sometimes that's all teens do, is push you away. But your constant reminder to them that you love them cultivates in them a calmness and surety that cannot be replaced by anything else. There are a few words of caution though. We've all done it before, and I think it's good to have an awareness to ensure that we do not manipulate. Words like, if you love me, you will. Create a conditional love and not an unconditional love. Sometimes we say it without even realizing we're saying it, and therefore it is crucial to pay attention to what you say and how you say it, so the message of unconditional love is conveyed. God loves us unconditionally, and by declaring your unconditional love to your child, you are helping them to develop their image of God. A God who loves them unconditionally, just like you do. When you do today's exercise, I want to encourage you to take some time and look your child in the eye and then to tell them, I love you. Feel free to follow the on-screen instructions for the exercise and make notes in your journal of your experience as you reflect on the personal exercise. Before the end of today, look your child in the eye and tell them that you love them. Also ask yourself the question, does my child believe that I love him or her? By looking into someone's eyes, you can really see that they mean what they're saying. You will see the sparkle in your child's eyes when they realize that what you said is true. Be sure to do this every day and make it a habit if you have not done so already.